I don't need AI for my business. Not me. I got a local business, so I don't need AI. I actually had somebody tell me that, and to a point, they're true. I'm Deacon Nick, and I've been helping small local businesses with their digital marketing, all kinds of marketing, for about 15, 16 years now. And the guy that told me that, he's right. Today, he doesn't need AI for his business, right? But it's a silly business mistake to not use it. I mean, why not get in at the beginning, learn how to use it, learn how to optimize it, and then as it gets more important, you won't be so far behind the curve. There's 4 or 5 or 6 things that as a small local business owner, you should have, or you should at least start thinking about using AI-based things that you should at least start thinking about using. So when the time comes that you just can't compete without it, I mean, people really said at one time, I don't need a website. I got the yellow pages. I've always ran my business with the yellow pages. I don't need this new fad called the internet. Well, you know what happened to most of those guys, right? Either they got on the website wagon or they rode their wagon out of town and no one ever saw them again. So it's going to be the same with AI. Now, you don't need all the fancy things. You don't need to know how to create AIs. You don't need to know, you should have some education in prompting AIs to use them, right? Or at least know how to use the AI to find proper information. I mean, hell, when you go to Google today and you type in a search term, any search term, what comes up at the top of the page? Or Bing or their AI. The Google AI gives you the first answers. So if nothing else, you got to start learning how to get into that, because your competitor who learns how to get himself into there before you do, they're going to soak up your business. And imagine spending money and running ads, having people see your ad. They go to Google to check up on you, to learn a bit about you, and your competitor comes up on the top of the page. Your ad just sent business to your competitor that you should have had, because you don't need AI, right? And of course, we all know I'm being a little sarcastic, but the basic things you should start learning as far as what to use. First, you got to learn how to make content. Content. Most everyone has heard about ChatGPT, right? And the other ones, there's a handful more that you can use. At least learn how to write a prompt properly so you can create content. You don't want to just go there and say, write me a script for a YouTube video, or write me a script, write me a Facebook post. You got to learn to give it better information than that, so it can give you that script, so it can give you that post based around the proper information and the proper way, right? So first, learn how to use AI for content. If nothing else, at least learn. And besides, unless you're just so stubborn and you don't like change, it's better than you are. I mean, I've been copywriting for a long time, and yes, I use AI to write content. I still go in and I change it. But man, for someone that has no copywriting experience, you got to start using AI, even if you don't tweak it. Google can tell when something's been written by AI, and word on the street has it that Google will give you'll rank better if you're using non-AI, if you're using original content. But how much of that is true, we don't know, right? But if nothing else, now I don't want to get on a sidetrack. If nothing else, learn how to use AI to come up with content. Secondly, start learning how to use AI to rank your business. I mean, the work we used to go through, and I mean, to come up with like keyword research, right? Now you could just go to Google and type, I don't know, let's say you have an escape room, right? Now you can just go to ChatGPT or whatever your favorite AI is and type in what's the most searched term, what is the most searched term for people who are looking for a local escape room? And it'll tell you exactly what people are typing into Google. And all you need to do is copy that and put it into your content, right? So learn to use AI for content, learn to use your AI to help you rank better in the search engine. Here's another one, real important. Learn how to use AI to generate reviews, because it doesn't matter how good AI gets. I mean, someday it might be able to post fake reviews and no one will know the difference, but I got a feeling Google's AIs know better, right? So use AIs to automate a review system. So when your client leaves the business, they can automatically get a text and they can automatically get an email asking them to review your business. Maybe give them a little bonus if they leave a review to get them to come back to your business. But learn how to use AIs to automate your whole review or your reputation process. A little fancier AI than that, but start thinking about using an AI for support. I mean, every business has those repetitive questions that come in and day out. People call to ask your hours, right? People call to ask, do you carry this? Do you carry that? Are you open on Sundays? What if? How do, all these questions that your people are repeating over and over and over again. Why not add a chat widget to your website? And now we have a couple. We have one that people can call, and we provide this for businesses, and one that they can type. It used to be they go to your website and there's a little thing in the bottom right says, click here to ask questions, or click here for help, or click here for support. And they'd click there and they'd write it in, and somebody on the other end, a person on the other end would bing, their computer would ding, and they'd go in there and they'd answer the questions for the person, right? Now it's totally AI. You could use an AI to totally operate, and some AIs, a lot of it depends on what kind of business you're in, right? But some AIs can totally replace a support person. It can schedule appointments. It can answer intricate questions. It could change appointments. I mean, someone can pick up the phone, call your business. You have the AI answer your phone, and like 75% of your phone calls can be handled by the AI. Even if you don't use that, you should look into getting one for your support widget on your website. So somebody goes to your website, they click on the widget. What are your hours? Are you open on Saturday? Do you sell this? How much does this cost? Do you have appointments available next Tuesday or whatever it might be, right? Are you hiring? These are all questions that somebody used to take the time to answer, and people would give the wrong answers, right? As long as you put the right information, AI is kind of like what they used to say about a computer program, garbage in, garbage out, right? You do have to provide the AI with the right information, but if nothing else, you should start thinking about an information AI. They're known as an AI receptionist, an AI answering service, AI agent, AI bot, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's something you should start thinking about, just as a time saver. Or look at it this way. Let's say your business closes at 6 and you have a competitor that closes at 8. Somebody calls your business by phone and they get a message. They leave the message. Next, they call your competitor that's open 2 hours later. They ask them the same question. They would get a human on the phone and you lose the business, right? Or somebody has an emergency. Maybe you're a dentist and somebody's got a toothache, or you're a plumber and somebody's got, water pouring out of or into or whatever, in the house. It used to be that when someone had an emergency, it happened to us a while ago. It wasn't really an emergency, but we thought we had critters in our attic. So I called the first guy. He didn't answer. I called the second guy. He didn't. I kept calling until somebody answered that phone and said, yes, we can come out and get the critters out of your attic. Imagine if the first place I called had an AI and it answered what, or I typed in, on their website widget and it said, yeah, we can help you with this. Sorry, we haven't talked to you right now, but I will be back in touch within the hour. Or imagine somebody calls your business if you don't want to do the voice. Imagine this, somebody calls your business and they leave a message. Immediately after that person hangs up, they get a text from you that says, sorry, I couldn't answer the phone, but we've got your message. Your business is important to us, and I will be back in touch with you ASAP. That would have stopped me in my tracks. If I knew someone was going to call me ASAP, because I was, that would have stopped me in my tracks. I would not have called the next guy in the list. So if nothing else, start looking at an AI to get your reviews on your reputation, and an AI to start answering your questions 24/7. I mean, those website widgets, we're seeing people book appointments at 2:30 in the morning. That just happened to be when somebody ended up on their website and asked the question. We're seeing that widget book an appointment for the next day or whatever. And that maybe that person wouldn't have even called back the next day if all they could do was leave a message and wait. And sometimes those messages don't get responded to. I don't know the real number off the top of my head, but the amount of messages that never gets returned, um, typically in business, it's really high. They don't get returned because the employee doesn't do it. The employee pretends to do it. They pre-screen the person based on the message. Oh, this guy isn't serious, or whatever it might be, right? So look at an AI to get you reviews. Look at an AI to start getting you ranked higher in the Google 3-pack, right? Google My Business, Google Business Profile. And look at an AI to start helping your customers when you're not around to do it. We can help you with all of it. If you want to have someone do it, there's a master class on our website explaining it at aisprinkled.com/, aisprinkled.com/reputation info video. If you don't have us do it, learn how to do it yourself. Again, I'm Nick. If anyone ever says to you, I don't need an AI for my local business, call the next guy. Take care. Thanks so much for being here. Love you. I never know what to say at the end.